how do you find the confidence to have those uncomfortable conversations? Because I know there's so many women who want to speak up, but they're scared to. So what's your advice to them?
It's fascinating because I would say that the courage that women have, it's something different because whenever it comes down to, and women are naturally nurturers, because we are care providers and so forth, but I do believe that women do speak up. And I think sometimes it might feel like like for me, you're saying that I have this confidence, I could be dying inside, right? So it's totally really about like how you deliver and how you do. So I would just say remind yourself how amazing you are. You Everyone has something to contribute, and the world already has a Boris Chagger. The world already has yourself. What the world doesn't needs is each individual to actually contribute in the way they were meant to be. And I think that's why even in politics, sure, everyone won't choose to put their name on a ballot, but we need people to volunteer on campaigns. We need people to be the CFO. We need people to be the sign person, and like all these different roles, and they all work. And it's like a football team. As much as all of the love goes to the quarterback can't do what the quarterback does without, like your all the different players, including, especially the people in the trenches. Those people on the front line are the ones who work the hardest, and they get the least amount of attention. But we do need to look at the people who are on the front lines. And I think that's what the pandemic's also shown us, the face of our frontline workers. For far too long, we haven't given them the praise and attention they deserve. And I think right now, as much as we're thanking our nurses, and it's, Nurses Week, and we give them a shout out, as much as we're thanking our frontline and essential workers, we can't lose sight of that because people are working really hard. And I think that's why, even for myself, as much as my mom didn't get a paycheck per se, she was always awake before I was awake. And she was always awake when I went to sleep. And it didn't matter how early I woke up or how late I went to sleep. What she's contributed has value. And we really need to actually change our approach as to how we value the people around us. And sometimes, even though they might not always agree about us being in politics, and our moms push us really hard, I think we have to really look at what are we learning from them. And I think that's where I've taken a lot of time to, really respect my upbringing and what I was able to learn. My first language, even though I'm born and raised in the Waterloo region, is Punjabi. And when I was elected, I've had to have a lot of more conversations in Punjabi. I've done Punjabi media and so forth. And as much as I thought like I would never need that in Canada, I've needed it a lot. And even when constituents will call, sometimes when you're in, really challenging situations, being able to speak to somebody in their mother tongue brings a different level of comfort. And I think that's where we really do need to ensure that we're looking at our diversity and bringing in all of its facets. When I went to Ottawa for the first time, when the House was sitting, I took Parathas. I don't know, it's like the Indian bread with.
Yeah, I know what that is. There's some bread. Wait, you brought
Parathas in a jar, and like the pickled mango. And I eat the pickled, like lemons and limes and all that kind of stuff. Well, I guess lemons more than limes. And so it was really important to me because that's my comfort food. So even though I don't mind takeout and I love takeout, for me, the spot I go to is my mom's cooking. And I think that's part of it. And as much as I used to be embarrassed about my food, the more I've shared it with people, the more they actually are intrigued and wanting to eat it. And I think that's what, breaking bread together allows us to be live in a lot more harmony. And we definitely have a lot more in common than we have as differences. And I think it's just a matter of peeling that back and figuring out how do we do that better.
I think out of that whole conversation, what I got is the parathas. I'm sorry. I love that. I love all of it. I love the part. Now, here's the real question, though. Can you make parathas as good as your mom?
No, I believe in job creation. So I feel like everyone should have their expertise and so forth. I make an awesome cup of chai, but that's about it. I make awesome leftovers. So, once the pandemic is over and, we get to meet up in person, I'll make you awesome leftovers, or I'll get my mom to hook you up with a true authentic meal. We've been in the Waterloo region well before you could access like Indian restaurants and so forth. So till this day, my mom still fries and grinds her peppers and spices. So it's very authentic in that sense because it was just our reality and something that oftentimes we take for granted, but we really can't forget about what people did that came before us and how we have come to where we are. And that's why, I'm really grateful to all the people who have laid track before me, and I continue working to lay track for the people who come after me. So right now it's May, it's Asian Heritage Month, and I'm a little bit biased, but I would say some of the best food comes from Asian cultures. And I think that's where you're looking at just the return of the rise of anti-Asian racism in Canada, and the fact that we need to confront it and, well, acknowledge it, but confront it. And I think that's where the anti-racism strategy and secretariat is doing some important work. But we can't lose sight of the fact that this is part of people's like daily realities, and it's not okay, but it's not enough just to say it's not okay. We have to do something about it.
No, for sure. 100%. I agree with you. And